research. She's well researched. When she brings up a point, she brings a lot of detail. I kind of like her style.
Yeah.
You're talking about Riggs' server, yeah?
That's right. Yeah.
There's some good combos happening there. Yeah.
Yeah, they were talking about religion earlier on today, my time, and I listened for about 30 minutes. Rigorous was in there; he was really giving them hell. In that it was holding them to task. He was doing his due diligence there, and then I left, and I had to do other things and that, and then I popped back in later, and they were talking about this laser beam thing and ham radios. And I said, I mentioned the point where when Nixon supposedly spoke to Neil Armstrong, the conversation was going as if Neil Armstrong was in the next room. There was no time delay. And when that was highlighted by some those who observed it and highlighted that they didn't go to the moon, NASA extended that time. But unfortunately for NASA, everybody had recorded the original. So we had the original there, and they showed the discrepancy where NASA had actually extended the duration of time to fit the 2 seconds requirement. They did that. Before that, it was the response was less than a second. Yes, that was Gus Grissom. Unfortunately, he passed away that day, didn't he? They burnt him.
Yeah, he's my favorite astronaut, and it sucks because he passed away in that very clip after asking that question twice.
Yeah,
Fire happened.
Yeah, he was a good man. The CIA did that.
Hey, Ethergress, thanks for sharing that description on range gating. Do you know much about this? Can you tell me more? I don't know much about range gating.
When he mentioned it, because I want to know about it. And then I just quickly posted what I just read. I'm going to go deeper than looking at an AI response, though, because that's just the kind of pat answer.
Yeah. They fire out the photons over to the moon, right? And then they're supposed to come back. Now, they're coming back at quite a rate, but what they're waiting for the one that's going to be like two, what is it? 2 seconds or whatever? Yeah. And that's the one they want. And then they use that to gauge the distance to the moon. So they're cherry picking those photons, apparently.
Right, yeah. I didn't realize that was called range gating. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I learned from Tyler. She brought that up. And I thought, and everyone's like, the Globers are looking the other way as she said it. And, they're trying to say she doesn't know what she's talking about. So I just listened. I didn't interrupt because she can handle herself anyway. But after
what is it again? What's range gating?
Well, it's where NASA bunch, the other guys who are actually trying to gauge the distance to the moon, and they use the photons, and they fire them out. And what they do is they wait deliberately for one to come in at 2 seconds. And that's when they shut down the whole system. Okay, we got it. Right? They've come back faster than that, but they don't accept the ones that have come faster. They're waiting for the ones that are coming in at 2 seconds intervals. They're the ones they go for.
Confirmation bias.
Yeah.
So
or,
basically,
sharpshooter fallacy.
Yeah. So they're receiving bounce backs or photons outside of the window in which they're expecting to receive their data, but they shut off the machine. They shut off the machine and pretend those aren't being received.
Right, exactly. They wait for the 2 second job, and then that's when
those are errors. Those are errors, of course. Right, you got to allow for errors, right?
Exactly. They all looked the other way when she dropped it, though. She dropped that clanger right in their heads, right on their heads there, and they looked the other way. I kept saying, but don't forget about what Tyler said with the gains rating. I had to keep bringing them back because Eggshells loves to go in an opposite direction, So I kept bringing him back. Yeah, it was good. I was there for about an hour and a half.
Yeah, I think we all know that they do this, but it's nice to know the actual term because it takes a few sentences to explain that. But if you can just say, well, they're using range gating, that should shut down the claim, really.
Yeah, it does. And then said, well, do you think they can fire? Do you think the moon is solid enough to fire a signal and laser beams. I said, I don't know that because one, I don't know the distance. Two, I have never not done that, so I can't even speculate. And I don't want to be forced to assume. We don't do that, flat earthers. I don't want to assume anything. So the answer is I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. That's my answer because I can't actually do the test. So I don't want to assume. Can't say yes. And you know, Eggshells tries to rope you in on his idea. I just don't get roped. I cut the rope immediately. As ladies and gentlemen, whatever he's putting forward, imagine me as the opposite, okay, for now. Yeah. I don't agree with anything.
So you're the anti-eggs. You're the anti-eggshells.
I've always been that with that guy, yeah. Always. I love eggs.
He's a slippery fella.
Yeah, I love eating eggs. Don't get me wrong. I can eat 5 at one sitting, no problem. 6, no problem, ladies and gents. And I do that quite regularly. But no, eggshells, no, he's just totally disingenuous all the way.
I heard they're partial to a boiled egg in Japan.
Oh yeah, they love them here. They even put them in the onsen, pour them in the onsen till they go black. The shells go black and crack it open. Different texture, different flavor. Really good. Yeah. Onsen tamago, it's called. Onsen tamago. Tamago means egg. Tamago. Onsen tamago. Very nice.
They're marinated in like soy sauce and stuff, right?
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, yeah. They got the little sauces that you can dunk them in. Yeah, love the onsen tamago. Yeah, man. I had one yesterday, actually. My mother-in-law brought it round. She brought around 8 of them. I ate 2, and then the kids devoured the rest.
Welcome, Jayed. Is it Jayed Hassan? Welcome to the channel.
Hassan, is it Jihad or Jihad?
Jahid Hassan Suad.
Jahid, welcome. Salam alaikum.
Jayed.
Alaikum assalam.
Good. How can we help you today?
Ji?
Yeah. How can we help you? Do you have any questions for us today?
No.
Okay. We're here to
Jayed,
listen.
how does it feel to live on a flat Earth, but to be told that it's a globe? How does that feel?
Earth is round.
But is it though? Is it really? How do you know this?
I don't know.
So why do you say it's round?
Actually, I'm poor in English.
See, Jayed, they have told us it's round, and they provide images that it's round. But in terms of measurement and empirical data, it's treated as flat. Are you aware of that? Not only do we treat the Earth as flat, but we also treat the Earth as stationary. So we do not detect any axial rotation of the Earth or the atmosphere. Were you aware of that?
The moon is round, so everything is round. And when we are traveling with plane, we see the earth is round, and in a sea, a ship or
So the moon is round. Okay, nobody disagrees with that. But why does that make the Earth that you stand on round? I mean, when I look at the moon, I don't see any resemblance to the Earth. I don't see life. I don't see hills. I don't see mountains. I don't see valleys. So why do you equate the moon with the Earth? What's that about?
No, uh, actually, my main language is Bangla and English. I cannot talk
Okay,
as good as well.
no problem.
So
You're
I
doing well. You're doing well. Let me rephrase the question. Why does it matter that the moon is round? How does that affect the Earth?
uh, I just asked them. Moon is round. Everything is round. We see everything round. As like Moon, Mars, Jupiter, Neptune, Earth, same.
Yeah, so we see
That's
lights in the sky
smart.
and bodies in the sky. Yeah, go ahead, T-Dub.
I was just going to say it's not the same thing. So what we observe the Earth to be is flat. Your perspective, my perspective, everybody's perspective. Even physicists agree. Yes, the Earth looks flat and it doesn't feel like it's moving. This is an objective experience that we all have and can share together, right? So then we look at the sky and say those things look round, right? Now, when we look back at the Earth, we go, is there any similarities? Well, so far I'm not seeing any similarities because if those things are physical objects and they are spheres, then their surfaces must have curvature. Then we can look at the Earth where we are and go, does this place have curvature? Because we're not seeing any other similarities, right? So then we must determine whether this thing shares that similar aspect.
Hello, praise God.
I think his English is not that
Oh,
strong.
sorry. I'll shut up. It's all good. Continue.
No, you're good. I'm not sure if did you understand what he said? Oh, is he gone? He's gone. Oh no, he hasn't. Jayed, did you understand what T-Dub said?
Yes, but I say I am very bad in English. But if you text me, I translate and understand properly.
So he said Earth is measured flat and stationary. Why do you look at the moon and say the Earth is a sphere and rotating if that's not what we experience? We don't experience a sphere Earth rotating.
But when we are in uh, in a sea and two sheep, uh, we see first sheep. Yeah, Huh? Uh, yeah, sheep. Bye, sorry. Bye. Bye. I'm very poor in English. First of all,
Yeah, you got a lot of background noise there, Jade, but don't worry. But a ship going over the horizon is the observations match what we would expect on a flat Earth with an atmosphere. And we can leave it there if you'd like. But a ship over the horizon is not proof that we live on a spherical Earth. Maybe we have someone with slightly better English that would like to jump in. Ships over the horizon. They've really robbed us of our intellect. We really do not understand perspective and atmospheric conditions. It's crazy.
Saw something interesting today. So this guy, it's kind of like, it's not like a proof, but it was interesting nevertheless. So this guy, right, he's got these different objects on this plank, and he's got reflected sunlight, right, or a light source, right, emitting onto them, right, and he's got a board in front of these objects. Now these objects are all different shapes and sizes, right, and he's got this board that he then holds in front of the objects, and it casts their shadow onto the board. And at first, up close, right, you've got actually no, sorry, not shadows, the reflections, right, the reflections of these things, right. What was it, shadows? Hang on, I'm going to have to go back and have a look. But so at first he's up close and he's got the board, and at first you see the shapes of these things. Actually, I'm pretty sure it was reflections, the reflected light onto this board. And at first, the reflected light, they all look like the shapes of the things, right, these objects. And as he moves the board back further and increases the distance, right, the reflections begin to become circular. Even though some are like got square edges to them, like 90-degree angles and things, right? The further he gets back, the reflected light onto this board, it looks circular. I thought that was really interesting.
That is interesting, yeah. Does this is this something repeatable? Like easily repeatable?
Karen B did it.
Right. Yeah. This is amongst a whole like reaction video. So I might be able to. I'll see if I can clip it.
Yeah, Karen B did a similar thing back in the day, 2016 or even 17. She did it. She showed that straight edges and square edges can cast a shadow on the wall that's curved. So there you are. Videos. Karen B, the flat earther, part of the
shadows. Yeah, shadows.
Yeah.
But reflections are interesting though, because when we're dealing with the heavenly bodies, if they were reflections, like, I don't know, is that something to do with like, if they were, let's just assume they are for a hot second, what is that? Is that something to do with like the liquid, the surface, or was that explained, T-Dub, for reflections, particularly on reflections? Is that the way light spreads or something?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess it's. I guess. I'm just trying to clip the part of the video now. Like the guy doesn't really go into much detail about like the